And we're kickstarting the bulletin with some breaking news coming in. Pakistan once again using the Kashmir bogey to lash out at India. Now, Pak Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has nominated 22 parliamentarians as special envoys who will be highlighting the alleged human rights abuses in Kashmir in key parts of the world, and have also vowed to raise the issue at the UN in September. Let's go across to Smita Sharma joining us on the phone lines with more details. Smita, not the first time Nawaz Sharif has tried to rake up the Kashmir issue.
And it's not the first time really that, we are seeing this kind of aggression over the issue. Both sides, none of them.
All right, we'll get back to Smita for more details. We seem to have lost that connection with her, but we understand that Pakistan, this time around, Nawaz Sharif himself is firing a fresh salvo. We understand he's nominated 22 parliamentarians now to raise the issues in Kashmir with the UN at the global platform this time around. Smita once again joining us. Smita, go ahead.
Proposed resolutions, even in Parliament, that have said that this issue should be raised forcibly. So clearly there is no backing down at the moment, and especially with Prime Minister Narendra Modi making this remark on Balochistan, on Gilgit-Baltistan from the ramparts of the Red Fort. And the two sides, we've seen that they're not in the mood for dialogue at the moment. What's happening is very, exchange of sharp rhetoric, exchange of sharp letters. So clearly for Islamabad also, keeping in mind their domestic constituency, their international positioning, it's not something that we see them backing down over.
Absolutely. Smita, stay on with us. Also joining us on the phone lines is Mr. Tariq Pirzada, a Pakistan defense expert. Mr. Pirzada, it's really not the first time your government has taken a strong view on what's happening in Kashmir. But why really? This is what India has said time and again. Why really is Pakistan meddling in something that's clearly an internal matter of India?
Well, if you look at the UN resolutions of 1948-49, if you look at the Shimla Agreement, if you look at the Shishma Swaraj and Sartaj Aziz joint communique, there are two paragraphs of that. The second paragraph clearly talks about Kashmir and the holding of talks on that. So Kashmir is certainly not an internal matter of India. So that's why Pakistan is taking this situation very seriously, and because Kashmiris are being brutalized, they are being suppressed, their blood is in the streets of...
But Mr. Pirzada, two points here that I want to also highlight. One is the fact that in the past, when this was taken up with the UN by Pakistan, by your nation, the UN clearly said that this is an internal matter that India needs to deal with, making it very clear that it will not intervene. Two, is this a reaction of sorts to the fact that the Prime Minister sent out a very strong message to Balochistan?
No. Remember, Mr. Modi, your Prime Minister, spoke about Balochistan just a week ago on your Independence Day. But this moment, which is 50 days old, in the independence movement that is going on in Indian occupied Kashmir, it is 50 days old now. I think a little more than that. So there is no comparison in terms of time. Number one. Number two, remember one thing. The real issue between India and Pakistan is the state of Jammu and Kashmir, without which there cannot be any peace. And because the Kashmiris are dying, these are Muslim Kashmiris, it's a Muslim territory, it has to be resolved under UN resolutions. So my advice has always been very simple. Start talks on Kashmir and see where we go.
But really, Mr. Pirzada, when we talk about human rights violations, and you're saying that is the core issue really here, shouldn't Pakistan really look within before pointing fingers at India, before coming and meddling in India's affairs and talking about Kashmir? Shouldn't it look within? And we're talking about really, again, the Balochistan violence.
No, Kashmir is not India's territory, you know that. So we're not finger pointing at India.
Mr. Pirzada, we'll go back to square one here. We'll continue with those debates on and on if we go into whose territory Kashmir really is, despite it being internationally recognized as well. Stay on with us. Also joining us over the phone lines is Mr. Khalid Jahangir. Mr. Jahangir, your view on what Pakistan has done yet again? They're now going once again and knocking on the doorsteps of the UN.
Well, I totally reject the Tariq Saab's agenda on Kashmir, that it's not a part of India, it's an integral part of India. And as a Kashmiri, let me tell you, it is the proxy war started by the Pakistan since 1990 to use Kashmiri young boys as their cannon fodder, as had been used in the militancy in 89 when these so-called commanders were used and exploited. And same way now, these young boys in different channels have been used to put stones on the security forces, not on the security forces, only on ambulances and on other people who are living peacefully in their houses. They have been forcibly put in the houses, and this is how the Pakistani is doing their proxy war against India.
And Mr. Jahangir, the same point that I was raising with Mr. Pirzada, they claim that these are human rights violations in Kashmir. Of course, we don't need to highlight that this is clear meddling once again by Pakistan. It seems to become a habit of sorts for them. But really going forward, considering that Pakistan is talking about human rights is laughable because of the kind of violations that we're seeing in Pak-occupied Kashmir as well, something that the Prime Minister also brought up.
Well, world knows about it. How the Pakistani forces are terrorizing people in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, how they use bombardment their own people in Baltistan. So at least you can see in Indian state we have not, Indian forces are taking rescue, how our army commanders are asking people for
there is no terrorization. This is an Indian expression.
We don't want any lessons from Pakistan human rights. I have been myself and invited the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. We have seen how the Pakistani people come there and narrate the stories in the United Nations.
Right. All right. Mr. Khalid Jahangir, thanks so much for speaking to us. Thanks to Mr. Tariq Pirzada as well for speaking to India Today.